All right, Fox News had Democratic Congressman Jason Crow on to talk about the U.S. strikes in Yemen, to talk about the signal fiasco, to talk about all of these different things. And let's be very honest, they probably expected the usual kind of punching bag dynamic. You throw a smug question at Jason Crow, you get a mealy-mouthed answer, you declare victory. But the interview was with Will Cain. I've appeared on Will Cain's show before, and it was quite an exercise in frustration. It didn't happen that way because Jason Crow was ready, and Jason Crow humiliated Will Cain on his own show. Let's take a listen.
Two more questions. No, I have two more questions. Was the location of those strikes in that messaging?
I don't believe the locations were, but that doesn't matter.
Was
right?
the targets?
Let me explain how this works.
Another question.
Let me explain how this works.
Were the targets listed in that?
Will, these are regional air defense systems. These are regional air defense systems. Let me explain how an SA-3 and an SA-6 works.
Will doesn't want to be explained to.
These are the two systems that the Houthis have that they got from the Russians. If they know that aircraft are flying over a region or an area, not even a specific target, they can launch an SA-3 and an SA-6, much like they did when they shot down the MQ-9 Reaper drone last year. So they don't need to know the exact location. So here you have people on this signal text chain, one of whom, by the way, was sitting in Moscow when this happened. But was sitting in Moscow, the most dangerous environment in the world for a cell phone.
Right.
And they were saying,
Congressman,
that we are launching
I know the
strikes.
Details.
So if the Houthis knew about that, they could have shot him down.
Cain is trying to manufacture some kind of scandal. Okay, what Cain is trying to do is he's trying to argue that this is all a hoax, that there's much ado about nothing with this entire story, because unless the exact GPS coordinates were in the signal chat, it's just not a big deal. But what Crow calmly and surgically does here is explain that when you leak regional air defense systems and the timing of the attacks, that's enough. That's enough for hostile actors to move and to hide and to plan. You don't have to gift wrap the coordinates and tell them exactly the GPS coordinates. The leak was already dangerous. And that's what makes this moment so important. Crow walks in, speaks like an adult, and explains to Will Cain that what he's doing is done seemingly out of ignorance, maybe out of malice. You know, don't attribute to malice that which can be explained adequately by ignorance, but levels the allegation on Fox News' own air. And Crow does it without raising his voice. He doesn't play their game. He just says, this is the way it works. And one of the things that these kind of like back the blue, support the troops type conservatives, which is what Will Cain is, one of the things that always happens is the principles of everything go out the window when it's politically inconvenient. They claim to be the biggest offenders of the military always. And now we have a situation where the military, thanks to Jeffrey Goldberg not publishing this stuff when he got it and leaving the signal thread, it didn't happen. But this action by Hegseth and Waltz and Tulsi and all of them could have endangered members of the military. It could have endangered operations. It could have endangered allies and assets abroad. But all of a sudden, that's not the primary concern for Will Cain, who for years has said, I support the troops. I'm so patriotic. It's all great. Rah, rah, rah. Now, all of a sudden, it's, no GPS coordinates. Not really a big deal. Think about if the shoe had been on the other foot. Think about if Democrats had leaked this exact same information. Fox News would be calling for televised executions on the White House lawn. But because it's Trump world's golden boy, Pete Hegseth, suddenly it's, was it really that serious? Did it have like a pin drop location, the way you would send to someone, hey, come meet me at this place? So this is the game. We know the game. Manufacture doubt, gaslight your audience, hope no one who knows what they're talking about shows up. Well, Jason Crow showed up. He happens to know what he's talking about, and he made them look like clowns. After researching, writing, refining, The Echo Machine, my book, is finally out. This is not just a book about how American politics got so broken. It's also about what's happening right now and what we can still do to stop things from getting worse. Trump's been back in power. The results have been even more catastrophic than many feared, with targeting of political opponents and gutting democratic institutions, laying the groundwork to even further consolidate power. But the thing is that none of this is inevitable. The same forces that brought us here can be countered if we understand how they work and what to do about them. And that's what The Echo Machine is all about. Some say that without corporate media backing, books like this can't succeed. I think we can prove them wrong. You can get the Echo Machine right now at davidpakman.com/echo on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Audible, Kindle, or by calling any local bookstore and asking them to order it. This book is more important than ever. If you care about what happens next, and I do, check out the Echo Machine today at davidpakman.com/echo.